Welcome to the next lecture in synchronous motors. Last lecture we were discussing the introduction and characteristic of synchronous motor. We have also discussed the principle of operation. In this particular lecture we are going to start our discussion on the methods of starting the synchronous motor. We have discussed in the last lecture that it is not possible to start the synchronous motor. They are not self-starting because unidirectional torque can't be achieved. So generally, since synchronous motors are not self-starting, we have to adopt few methods to start the synchronous motor. So generally, the methods that are used to start the synchronous motor are either by means of an auxiliary motor or by providing damper windings. So two different methods are available for starting the synchronous motor, by providing the auxiliary motor or by providing the damper winding. The first will discuss what is an auxiliary motor and how it is useful in starting the synchronous motor. So auxiliary motor are basically the small induction motor also known as pony motors, and these are coupled to the same shaft of the synchronous motor. So here we have an induction motor and a synchronous motor. So both are coupled in the same shaft. These auxiliary motor which is coupled in the same shaft of the synchronous motor, which are known as pony motors, are basically the induction motors and they are known as the auxiliary motor. The auxiliary motor are having the same number of poles as the synchronous motor, or preferably one pole pair less, then it rotates the motor nearly at synchronous speed. Since the aim of this induction motor or the pony motor is to rotate the synchronous motor at the synchronous speed, the number of pole pair should be equal for the induction motor and the synchronous motor. And we can see that both induction motor and synchronous motor are connected to the same supply, that is the three-phase supply. There are some switch which is connected with the synchronous motor, that is the main switch which is connected to the three-phase supply, and you have a DC supply which is required for production of the field. Both are disconnected at this particular point of time. Now you have to give the supply first to the pony motor. So the three-phase supply will be given to the pony motor and it will rotate the rotor of the synchronous motor near the synchronous speed. So this pony motor will rotate the synchronous motor at a particular speed, that is the synchronous speed of the machine. Then the main switch and the DC switch. So we have two switch. One is the main switch and there is a DC switch. Main switch is connected to the supply. DC switch is used to produce the field. So both will be closed. So once the synchronous motor is rotating at the speed of the synchronous speed, we will close the main switch as well as the DC switch. The rotor poles are pulled into synchronism with the rotating field. So here now the synchronous motor rotor will be rotating at the synchronous speed and it will be pulled by the rotating field of the armature. Then we can cut the supply of the auxiliary motor. So this supply of the auxiliary motor can be cut and disconnected so that this motor, induction motor or the pony motor, acts as a load to the main synchronous motor. So it will act as the load to the synchronous motor. So in this way we can see how this induction motor or the pony motor can be useful in starting the synchronous motor. The next point of discussion in which we will be using the damper winding. So this is the second method of starting the synchronous motor, and this is the most common method of starting the synchronous motor. So damper winding we have discussed previously also. Now in this point also we are going to discuss. So damper winding is the most common method of starting the synchronous motor. So motor is first started as squirrel cage induction motor by providing a special winding on the rotor poles known as damper winding. So here we can see the synchronous motor will be first started as squirrel cage induction motor, and we have the rotor pole faces. So in the rotor pole faces, there will be a special winding provided, which is known as the damper winding. Damper winding consists of number of copper bars which are embedded into the slots that are present in the outer periphery of the pole shoes. So this is the pole shoe, and we have the slot provided on the pole shoe where the copper bars are embedded. So damper winding are generally number of copper bars which are embedded in the slot present in the pole shoe, whereas in the salient pole are employed, and then the short circuited this bar by bridging them to the end rings. So generally, as in the case of squirrel cage induction motor, the damper windings are generally short circuited with the help of end rings. So this discussion is prevailing to the salient pole machine. So when we have the non-salient pole machine, then the damper winding conductors are placed in the rotor slots above the main field winding and short circuited by the end rings. So both for the salient pole as well as non-salient pole, the damper windings are provided in a different fashion, and they are useful in the start of the synchronous motor. So when the synchronous motor is connected to a three-phase supply, a revolving field is set up which causes the rotor to rotate as a squirrel cage induction motor. So with the general principle of the synchronous motor, first the three-phase supply will be given to the stator, and the rotor will rotate as the same phenomena as squirrel cage induction motor. And as soon as the motor attains a speed close to 65% of the synchronous speed, the rotor winding is connected to the DC mains. So now the rotor winding will be connected to the DC mains because it has to produce the field. The rotor field is magnetically locked with the stator rotating field, and the motor runs at the synchronous speed as a synchronous motor. So now the stator field and rotor field are magnetically locked with each other, and the motor starts to run at a particular speed, that is the synchronous speed. So in this particular lecture, we have discussed the two different methods which are useful in starting of the synchronous motor. Thank you for now. See you in the next lecture.